Hi, welcome to Books with Lexi. In this video, I'm going to read some books that I'm not sure if I'm going to like. So I have three books that I want to read, and honestly, the only reason I'm interested in them is because of the author. These three books with the synopsis alone would not lead me to pick up these books, but I have given all three of these authors 5 stars in the past, so I wanted to try them anyway. These are books that are out of my comfort zone, both the 5-star book that I previously gave and the ones I'm going to be reading in this vlog. So I'm really excited to be doing a kind of experiment with these to see if I just really like the author's writing or if it was just a one-time thing that I liked their books. So the first book I will be reading is Seasonal Fears by Seanan McGuire. The synopsis of this does not pull me in, it doesn't do anything for me, but I loved Middle Game by Seanan McGuire, so I want to pick it up. The synopsis of this one still does not sound that great to me, even though I love this book. And this maybe feels a little bit like cheating, but they are companion novels set in the same world. It's not technically a sequel, so I don't think that me loving this one will directly mean that I will love this one. Then I will be reading Now Is Not the Time to Panic by Kevin Wilson, and I will be reading this because I loved Nothing to See Here. Both of these are weird, kind of quirky contemporary books. The synopsis of this one sounds fine, but not something that I would really go out of my way to read, but I absolutely loved Nothing to See Here, so I cannot wait to read this. And then the third book that I am going to be reading, which I am most nervous for because it's out of my comfort zone with both genre and age range, and this is Blanca y Roja by Anna Marie McLemore. I have read their book Wild Beauty and absolutely loved it, but quite honestly, nothing about the synopsis sounds like something I would pick up. So I'm really excited to get to all three of these books, and even though I'm not sure if these will be books for me because of the synopsis, I still have hopes because of the author. So I'm 37% into Seasonal Fears, and I was really nervous going into this because everyone seems to hate it. Also, it is fantasy, which I don't love. And I know I loved Middle Game, but it's like a companion series, not like a straight up series, so I was really worried about it because of that. I'm not loving it like I was with Middle Game, like at all, but I'm still enjoying it. Like, I'm not hating it at all. So right now it's reading like a 3 or 3.5 for me, which is not ideal, but like I'm not upset about it. So this is taking place after the events of Middle Game has happened. They are referenced, but also it's not like a direct sequel in any sort of way. It's just like the time happens to be afterwards. So in this one, we are dealing with seasons, seasonal fears. So the King of Winter and the Queen of Summer are dead, and now the fight for their crown begins, which, like, none of those words seem interesting to me. So we're following Melanie, who her body is shutting down, like she is dying, and she is a candidate for the winter crown. And then Harry, who is her boyfriend, happens to be a candidate for the summer crown. And there's an event that happens that sets them on this like path of knowledge. What am I saying? Because of this event, they become aware of this like competition, this summer winter situation. So I have heard that this is a road trip story, which I am at the beginning of that now. I am interested enough in the events going on, but I think what really made me love Middle Game was also really loving the characters. And I do like these characters, but I don't feel any sort of attachment to them. I'm not obsessed with them in any way. So yeah, I am enjoying it. My audio loan from the library is due at 11:30 tonight. So I am reading the rest of this book today. I will update you once I'm roughly 2/3 in. And the book is kind of shifting what's happening now, so I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. Hello, I don't think you've seen me down here before. I'm in the basement. And we're like doing some stuff to finish it off down here. So I'm working on a project, and I just got to, I think, 64% of Seasonal Fears, and I figured I'd update you because it was like the end of a section. This definitely is pretty slow paced. It feels pretty on par with the pacing of Middle Game, but unlike Middle Game, this is linear. Speaking of Middle Game, there's been some fun little cameos in here. I am enjoying it. It's probably feeling like 3.5 stars. While I'm listening, I'm invested, but whenever I stop, I'm not super inclined to pick it back up, so that's why I was feeling 3.5 maybe instead of 4 more. So yeah, I'm gonna keep working on this to do some measuring and like and cutting. So I'm gonna do that, continue listening, and I will be back once I'm done. So I have finished Seasonal Fears. I'm currently on sprints on my channel. Hi Bowser. So I just finished this and I think I'm gonna go with 3.5 stars. So for me, I really like the characters in here. I really still like the writing. I liked the plot in a sense. So I did enjoy the plot, but I think that this was too long. I think it was really drawn out for no real reason. I think that this could have either been a lot shorter, or it could have been, this part could have been a lot shorter and it could have added some more stuff at the end. So we end on like an event, and I kind of would have liked to see the aftermath of that included in here, or something more with it. I just wanted more things to happen, but there was no point where I was like, this is terrible, I hate this. So that's always a plus when reading a long book like this. So yeah, 3.5 stars. The writing was good. The plot was, the plot, okay, the plot was good, but the plot execution was not my favorite thing. If this continues to be a series, I will definitely read the next one. I have no idea where this would continue to go because I know that they're all going to be companion novels and not direct like sequels or anything. I'm glad I finally read it. I'm not upset at a 3.5 rating. Obviously, I wish it would have been 5 stars like Middle Game because that made my top 10 of 2021. But overall, I enjoyed it. I'm glad that I read it, and I would count this as a success. I've been joined by a guest. Can you not try to eat my chapstick? Are you kidding me? Hi, Bowsy. Okay, anyway, I am at 30, I just looked, 36 or 38% into Now Is Not the Time to Panic by Kevin Wilson. So the synopsis doesn't sound super interesting to me, but I picked it up because I really love Nothing to See Here by this author. And this one is short, which I really appreciate. So we are following our main character. No, don't know names. So you're following our main character, Frankie. That's her name. She is 16 and she doesn't really have a lot of friends. She ends up meeting this kid that is new to town who's around her age, and they decide that they want to spend the summer making art. So they like end up coming up with these weird posters. Like she has this ominous quote that she makes up, and then he adds some art to it, and they make photocopies and put it up over town. And then we know that it leads to this like mass panic because it's talking about like, not convicts, I can't remember. Oh, fugitives, and the law is skinny with hunger for us. The quote says, "The Edge is a shanty town filled with gold seekers. We are fugitives and the law is skinny with hunger for us." So everyone starts to panic because they don't know what that means. And then we know that something bad happened because of this, because at the very beginning, our main character is being contacted by a reporter saying like, "I know this was you and someone else. Would you like to kind of confess?" So far it's weird, but a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'll talk to you again once I'm 2/3 in. I am now 2/3 into Now Is Not the Time to Panic. I just got to part 2. So everything up until now, except for the very, very beginning, whenever our main character was being called, was in the past. It was set in 1996, which that's when I was born, for anyone curious. And I was wondering where we were going to go with the rest of it, because I'm like, the story feels like it's wrapping up, so what are we doing here? But the rest of the book is set in 2017, which is present day for this, and it seems like things are going to come out about what happened in the past. I am liking this. It's an interesting read, and it's fairly quick, but I'm not loving it like I was loving Now Is Not the Time to Panic. I think this is probably going to end up being 4 stars for me, which I'm still very happy with, but I don't love it as desperately as I love the other book I've read by this author. So I'm gonna keep cleaning and keep listening to this, so I'll talk to you when I'm done. Okay, I have finished Now Is Not the Time to Panic, and I'm going to give this 4 stars, but like a low 4 star. I really enjoyed my time listening to this, but this was one that I enjoyed while I was reading, but I'm probably never going to think about it again. I think it was done well. I think it was a fun time, but it just like didn't hit me. Both of these are weird, but I think the reason I liked Nothing to See Here is because I really liked the characters. I think this is a good example of why contemporary fiction is maybe not my favorite thing. I just like felt like I needed more from this, but I don't know what that would have been, so I don't think it's at any fault to the book. I think if you're interested in this, it's a quick, fun one, and you should read it. but it is not a new all-time favorite of mine or anything. This deals a lot with friendship and also like living in the past and wanting things to be like they were in the past and trying to move on from that. It has some discussions on art and like the importance of that and stuff. So yeah, I had a good time with this. I'm glad that I finally read it, but sadly, I didn't love it as much as Nothing to See Here. I don't know if I would have enjoyed this concept if it was from a different author. I think it was like the right amount of kind of quirky and weird, but then again, from a different author, it could have been darker. So I don't know. I did enjoy my time with it, and I'm glad that I read it. So on to Blanca y Roja. Okay, this is so random, and probably nobody knows what I'm talking about, and this is like gonna be very quick because are you not in focus? Because I'm on sprints and I only have a minute and 40 seconds left. But there's one time on sprints where someone's like, "Oh, I'm eating pirate's booty," and I was like, "You're doing what?" I did not know that pirate's booty was a snack, and I was very concerned for the whole situation. But I got this for my birthday. Thank you, Sherry. I'm going to try it. So I figured I would do it here. If I can open it. That's not for you. That is very good. It's just like cheese puffs. But I love a good cheese puff. And I love white cheddar. So now I'm going to eat all of these. Goodbye. I am 36% into Blanca and Roja. I swear that I've heard somebody talk about this and say Blanca y Roja. And then the audiobook said Blanca and Roja. I don't know what the answer is. So I just got to part 3. I don't know how many parts there are. At least 3. So this is a Swan Lake retelling. Is anybody surprised that I don't know anything about that? No. And usually this kind of like flowery, not over the top, but like overwritten kind of book doesn't really work for me, but for some reason I'm really enjoying this. So we are following 2 sisters, Blanca and Roja, and they have a family curse on them. A few generations ago, one of the women in their family, I think I can't remember for sure, but I think she wanted a second daughter, and the Swans said that they would give her one, but at one point they would take a daughter back. So then it actually turned out to be this like big family thing where every generation would have 2 daughters, and then I think it happens when both are finally 15 or 16, and then the swans decide which one they're going to take, and then that daughter is turned into a swan. So Blanca and Roja are at the age where this is about to happen. It could happen at any point now. And I think there's some sort of game that's involved with it when it does happen. And then these 2 local boys go missing, and they get drawn into this game apparently as well. I honestly don't have real thoughts about it other than the fact that I'm enjoying it. This is not typically a story that I'm into. It's not writing that I usually like, but something about it is just enjoyable. It is one that I'm not thinking about when I'm not reading. I'm not like dying to get back to reading it, but whenever I am sitting down to read it, I am having a good time with it. So it's kind of feeling like 3.5 stars right now. I think the reason that I liked Wild Beauty so much is because I really connected with the characters. And I can't even remember why, because that was like 2 years ago. And it's one that I probably will never reread because I just like generally YA is not my favorite. Lyrical writing is not my favorite. Plots where there's like not a whole lot going on. That's not true. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't know. It's not a mystery. It's not a thriller. It's not, well, there's a little mystery. It's not horror. It's just like a story. And sometimes that's not enough for me, but I'm still really enjoying this. So yeah, I feel like 3.5 to maybe 4 stars at this point, which I think would put all of the books around the same range for this video, which is very interesting to think about as well. But yeah, I'll talk to you again once I'm around 2/3 in. Hello, I am reading Blanca and Roja. I'm on Patreon sprints, and I'm moving through this slowly. I am to part 4 now, which is only like one part more, but it was a good chunk of the book. I think I'm a little under 2/3 in, but it felt like a good place to stop and update. And I think for me, this is just too long. Um, it was keeping my attention, and now it's starting to lose me a little bit because it's just pretty drawn out. And I don't think that's specifically a bad thing. I don't think that like the book really needs to be different, but just for my personal taste, it is like dragging a little bit. I feel like we haven't progressed much more in the story. And yes, it is only one part that we got through, but it still was like, I can't even find it now, but it was at least 75 pages. 145 to 235. So 90 pages. Yeah, like a few things have happened, but it just has not progressed enough for me. So I don't know. I think I said this was feeling like 3.5 stars earlier, and it is now feeling more like 3 stars. I think the book is good. I think it's done well. Sorry, Winston is trying to get a go box over there. But it's starting to feel more so that this just is not the book for me. And I'm very curious if I would feel the same way about Wild Beauty now, but I think once again, like I just connected with those characters more than I am with these. Not that I remember anything about those characters or that story, so I don't have much else really to say. I am going to finish it tonight. I have an hour and 5 minutes left at my listening speed, so it'll be easy to get done, and I'll talk to you again then. I have finished Blanca and Roja, and I'm going to give this 3 stars. I wasn't bored by it, but it didn't keep my attention very well, especially after the first part where we were like learning the backstory of everything. Also, I was wrong. Earlier I said Swan Lake, and I saw that online, but that is not true. It is, it's the story of the, well, wait, I don't know. It braids together 2 fairy tales and the themes of a well-loved ballet. Okay. So, never mind. I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't know. I mean, I know what Swan Lake is. That's the Tchaikovsky part. Brothers Grimm and Hans Christian Andersen. Uh, whatever those are. Don't know. Don't come for me. So I guess Swan Lake is part of it. And then it was something about swans. You know, someone can tell me. I don't know the stories, and it, you know, I don't know. I don't really have a lot to say. I don't think that there were any real faults of the book. I just didn't connect to the characters or the story, and I think with Wild Beauty, I really connected to the characters. I think that's why I like that one so much, because I don't remember the plot of that at all. So 3 stars, and I'm going to unhaul this. This was my least successful of the video. So this was 3 stars. I cannot remember if I gave Seasonal Fears 3.5 or 4. I feel like maybe 3.5, but maybe I guess it could have been 4. I read it a while ago, and at this point I would say it's probably more of a 3.5. And then I gave Now Is Not the Time to Panic 4 stars, I think. I don't remember anything about that book either, so I don't know if that tells you anything. This video did not go how I wanted it to, because the thing is, the synopsis of Middle Game, Wild Beauty, and Now Is Not the Time to Panic did not sound like something I would love, and I just picked it up for various reasons. So I was hoping that because I have loved from these authors before, even though these synopsis for these books didn't sound good, I would still end up loving them, and that just didn't happen. I'd love to know your thoughts on any of these books if you have read them. And I would love to know books that you don't really love the synopsis of, but you ended up loving the books themselves. If you are looking to find me in other places on the internet, everything is linked in the description, including my Bookstagram, my Storygraph, and my Patreon. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!